2020 iPad Pro 11-inch full review. Now, let's cover this thing in its entirety. This tablet right here does feature an 11-inch display, 2388 by 1668 pixels. That's an LCD Retina with a wide color gamut, True Tone. Now, dual 12 megapixel camera up here, very similar to the iPhone 11, can shoot 4K 60 as well. Definitely a pro-like camera. For at least a mobile product, better camera than you're gonna find on any tablet on the market, hands down. 6 gigabytes of RAM on here with an Apple A12Z chip, very similar to the A12X chip in the prior version, just a little bit faster. And what's better about this iPad, if you're looking at maybe the 2018, is that this thing has 6 gigabytes of RAM. That's more than before. In addition to that, you also are gonna get more storage, 128 gigs at $799. That's a better deal than even the iPad from before with 64 gigs, the iPad Pro from before. So those are some of the key specs that matter here. Let's talk about the body on this tablet. First of all, you're gonna notice that camera does leave a little bit of a bump there. So yes, you might wanna get a case on this tablet for certain, as you could scratch that up over time. Now, also what you're gonna notice is that the aluminum body does look and feel almost identical. Actually, it does feel identical to 2018. We can see a magnetic strip right there for going ahead and putting our Apple Pencil, 2nd generation, magnetically right there on the tablet. So pretty nice. Now, when you're buying a case, make sure that they have the cutouts proper for this. Now, at the bottom, you could see the connectors for Smart Keyboard, Magic Keyboard coming soon. We do have speakers here at the bottom, USB-C, nice squared kind of design, very similar to like an iPhone SE. You can see here up at the top, speakers on both sides, and we do have a power button right there. Now, on the left side, basically nothing but another microphone hole right there. And here is the front of the tablet. You can see there is some bezels that do run around the tablet. I've said in my unboxing, I think that we could get a little bit skinnier bezels. I know some people think, no, it's a perfect place to go ahead and rest your hand, but the bezels are skinnier on the iPhone, and you don't claim to want more bezels on the iPhone. I know it's a tablet, but still, I think it could go just a little bit more in terms of giving you a little bit, like 11.2-inch display, for example. That would be a nice update, but we do have this nice 11-inch, and this front-facing camera up here is gonna give us a 7-megapixel resolution, can do 1080 at 60, so not a major improvement when it comes to the front-facing camera. Now, one of the better things about the 11-inch is the weight. It's so light, I mean, it's just barely over a pound, and one thing I don't like too much about the 12.9 is that it's just a monster. It's like holding a MacBook screen in your hand, whereas this one feels more iPad-like and more compact in power in this little 11-inch. Now, the 12.9 is great if you're trying to replace your laptop, but this is gonna be great if you want a little mobile style laptop replacement as well. Build quality and feel, aluminum body just feels great. And because of the squared off edges, I think it's pretty easy to hold this tablet right here. So let's cover the display a little bit more. Now, first of all, it gets extremely bright, and there's a nice range too. You can bring it way down or you can bring it way up. It gets extremely bright. I'm gonna put it about halfway for the video. You can also see there is dark mode available for this, as comes with iOS 13.4. This specifically is iPadOS 13.4. Now you do have night shift on, and you do have True Tone over here as well. And these are also able to be scheduled. So if we do go into settings here and we go to display, you can see you can schedule it. You can do it automatically. There's a lot of tweaking you could do with the display. There's also more tweaking and accessibility you can do with display and text size. We can reduce the white point at nighttime if we want that display even more dim. So that's a little quick tip for you right there if you didn't know that existed. Auto brightness is over here in display and text size settings as well. But overall, I gotta say, the display on this, while it's similar, actually it's pretty much the same as the prior version, it's still one of the best on a tablet. While I would have liked to see an OLED, LCD I think is still good though for an iPad. Most of our laptops, most of our desktops are LCD, and so I don't think it's a problem with this being LCD, but I will like to see a micro LED or an OLED style display coming soon for iPad. And so one of the best things about the iPad Pro is the ProMotion display. It's why I like browsing on the iPad Pro more than the iPhone. It's just extremely smooth, and the scrolling is noticeably better than the iPhone. It just feels like butter. It's amazing. So if you do want the smoothest display on any Apple product, you have to go with the iPad Pro 11-inch or 12.9 9-inch, and it's one of the best things about it. And I forgot to mention that this only goes up to 600 nits brightness. We talked about it earlier, but that's not quite as bright as like an iPhone 11 Pro, for example, at 800 nits, but it's just as bright as like an iPhone 11. So watching YouTube videos, of course, is fantastic on the iPad with its surround speakers on the top and the bottom. You can see right here, we are comparing the S20 Ultra and the iPhone in this example. One thing I really do not like though about the iPad is just the way it gives you these black bars. Like most videos are gonna be having black bars on here. That's because it's not a 16:9 display. And so movies even will cut off the content on top and bottom. And I think even some of Samsung's Galaxy tabs are a little bit better for media consumption, like the Tab S5e, for example, because these do get cut off on top and bottom. But you can see as we get into our samples right here, it's not like you can't enjoy content. Many people still watch plenty of movies and plenty of things on the iPad. One of the best things, and once you go to having speakers on the sides, there's no way you're going back. With the Galaxy S20. And there's no way you're covering it up. So overall, definitely love the media consumption experience. And a couple other things about the display. If you do go to home screen and dock, you can make more icons on the home screen like that, but I don't think that's very useful until you get the Magic Keyboard, as it's more like a tablet right now, so I've been leaving it on bigger. And also if we go to wallpaper here, you can see Apple did include 2 new wallpapers with this tablet, one here, you can see this one right there, and also this guy right here. And talking about the software, of course, the iPad OS 13.4 is fantastic on here. I think it's the best tablet software on the market right now. Again, I said tablet software. Now you can now with 13.4 just connect a trackpad, a mouse, and now you're gonna have full trackpad and mouse support on this tablet. Now, for me, I think it's gonna take a little getting used to because it's a little bit different than like a keyboard with a mouse on a regular PC. Just the way it operates is just a little bit different, but you just gotta hover this little circle above your applications and go right in. It's not gonna be hard to learn whatsoever. Now, if you pinch out like that, you can see there's gestures just like you would see on a MacBook, for example, and that's pretty cool as well. So definitely a lot of control you're gonna get with this tablet. Now, in addition to that, if we take Safari, for example, one of the best things about this is that you can have 2 Safari windows within the iPad. This really boosts the productivity on this. I also like in 13.4, you can pinch the keyboard out like so, and definitely do some swipe texting and things like that. I wrote Kevin. If your name's Kevin, congratulations, your name just appeared on the screen. But coming home, you can also bring even more smaller app. If you hold it in the middle, you can have one like that, and then you can move this off the screen over here, or you can swipe it away and then just bring it back in like that. So lots of multitasking ability, and really this is what separates the iPad from, say, an iPhone. It's not just a big iPhone. It does a lot more than an iPhone. And also you do have a full Safari internet web browser. So this is not some, regular, mobile browser. This is the full desktop version. And that really was a great update to 13 iPad OS. And you can see definitely very smooth. However, why I think you might want to wait to buy this iPad till the Magic Keyboard comes is just having all these peripherals, separate from the tablet. It's just annoying. It's better to just have it in one, open it up, and be done and ready to go. A couple other great things about iPad OS versus, say, even a MacBook, for example, is that you run all the applications you can run on your iPhone, but then it also has many applications just designed for iPad, actually the most on the market. So definitely that's why it's one of the best. It's the best tablet you can buy on the market. Now, one thing I don't like is that Apple still doesn't include a calculator with the iPad. Like, Apple, if you're watching this video, please put an Apple-based calculator in the iPad. Now, I know there's tons on the market like this one right here, but I don't want to use a third-party app. I want to use the Apple calculator. I know there's scientific ones. There's even better calculators you can say than an Apple calculator, but still, I want the one from the iPhone on the iPad. Please put it on the next version of iOS, maybe iOS 14. Now, because you have all this power in the A12Z, editing is ridiculously smooth. It makes me excited that people can now just buy an iPad and do, editing like a YouTuber would do on a desktop iMac. It's incredible. So definitely you can just have an iPhone 11. You can take your footage on your iPhone 11, airdrop it over to the iPad and have incredible performance instead of buying, a laptop over here. And you can use the Apple Pencil to go through, or now with the trackpad, it's going to be even better because you can now swipe through like so. I actually have it off to the right out of the shot, but it's definitely working here. You can pinch in, fantastic. The iPad really going to the next level this year. Okay, so when it comes to the Apple Pencil 2nd Gen, of course, the lovely magnetic connector up there, I'm not really feeling any big differences with this. It's still one of the stars of the iPad Pro experience. Is definitely if you are an artist or if you just want to use this kind of as a navigation tool, just to kind of swipe around the OS and stuff like that, or maybe jot down some notes for school or something like that, or even in some research, it can be very helpful. You know, if you got one app over here, you're writing some notes, on the other app, you're doing some research, it can be great, but it's definitely a star of this product if you're willing to invest in it. But I don't think everyone's gonna need it, but if you do need it, and artists are gonna definitely be needing this, I'm not noticing a huge difference in the overall drawing experience versus the prior iPad Pro 2018, which was also very good. Now, if you're noticing huge latency differences or something like that, you're more into this. I'm not really a big into the creative apps in terms of drawing. Let us know down below in the comments section of this video. But if we go over to search and we do go to Adobe, for example, you're gonna see there's plenty of creative apps on here. You could definitely take advantage of this Apple Pencil. In terms of the A12Z chip, this is one of the most powerful Apple products you can buy. And the way it's felt is not really in just sheer raw power. It's really felt in that there's zero lag ever. And it's always smooth all the time. That's how you know you have one of the best performing devices on the market. And this one definitely shows its power when you are rendering as well. So when you're rendering out video, when you're opening 17 apps at a time, these are the type of things that would choke up or make a computer or a PC kind of stutter a little bit. It just doesn't happen here for the iPad Pro, almost never. So that's where you can really see the power in this, especially too when you're doing some drawing apps. Now, if you do encounter any type of lag, it's more than likely going to be because the app is stuttering, not really the iPad itself. And so if you take a look at my Antutu score right here, my previous one, you're gonna see an incredibly high score of 693,447. And some people are reporting even higher scores. So fantastic overall performance. And so let's cover the iPad Pro 11 inches camera. Now it's fantastic, especially because it now has a wide angle camera like you can see right there. And it pretty much has that same looking zoom effect here on the left with the little dial. It looks very similar to the iPhones, definitely. Now you do have video modes right here, slow motion, time lapse, and if we scroll down, we do have portrait mode as well, and square mode and panoramic. Now, one thing you cannot do in this camera like you could do in the iPhones is you cannot change the 4K or the video resolution right there. So you still have to go into settings to do that. Also, the front-facing camera is not nearly as good as the one on the rear. Apple didn't put the same type of camera they put in the iPhone 11 Pro on the front of this one. So it's the rear camera you're gonna love the most here. But I don't need to talk much more about it. I took a few samples. Go ahead and check these out and let me know your thoughts on this camera. So where does this LiDAR sensor really matter? Well, things like the Measure app for example. This is going to have some of the best depth sensing out there on the market. It'll be very easy to find things in terms of distance and stuff like that. Also, if you use AR applications like this one, for example, IKEA Place, you kind of want to see furniture in augmented reality. It's also going to allow you to do that as well. So AR is where this thing is really going to shine. And when it comes to Face ID, it's still fast as ever. Hallelujah. We're done talking about that. We know it's the best on a tablet right now. Great biometric security here. And the final thing I want to talk about, and probably one of the most important aspects, is the battery life. How has it been? Well, Apple usually rates these things around 10 hours. I can assure you I'm getting that. I'm getting more like 11 hours. So definitely excellent battery life. It gets through a full day easily, no matter what you're doing. But I will say one thing that will drain this battery quick is iMovie, rendering, videos, and LumaFusion, stuff like that. When you start pushing this thing to the brink of its performance, you will see that battery drain a lot quicker. But everyday tablet tasks, everyday light productivity, this thing will last easily what Apple is stating it will last. And that brings me to the conclusion of this video. The iPad Pro 11-inch 2020, should you buy it? And the answer to this question is it depends on if you have the 2018. If you have the 2018, I would say you don't need to buy this, but if you have to have the latest and greatest, definitely you'll like the cameras on this one if you use them a lot, and you'll like the better RAM, the better storage, and you can still use the Magic Keyboard on the older iPad, so you don't have to get this to use the Magic Keyboard. But still, I think if you care about those new upgrades and specs, you'll like this. But personally, if it was me, I wouldn't buy this if I have the 2018 11-inch. And that's it. I think it's a great value at $799. All that you're getting, all this power you're getting in this tablet is incredible for $799. If you don't need all this power, the iPad Air is available, the iPad Mini, the iPad 10.2. There's plenty of iPads available. You don't have to go to $799, but for pro users, this is it. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I got a question for you. Are you going to buy this iPad? Are you going to buy it when the Magic Keyboard comes out? Are you just going with the 2018 used or, refurbished, or you're just going to still get the 2018 new somewhere? Let us know your thoughts down below and what you're going to do. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Thank you very much for watching, and peace.